Hello, viewers and subscribers. Welcome once again. The continuation of the previous screencast. The previous screencast we already discussed about the DevOps cultures and DevOps with continuous integration and continuous deployments. Those are who new in the screencast. Please follow the previous screencast. Then you can get the clear idea how can we move forward for those for the next screencast. So that means we already discussed about the development flow and also the operation flow. That means the development teams, what is doing the development team, and how you make a plan for the any type of software developments, including the all the repo. How can you manage the repository? How can with which build tool you will try to integrate, and also the possible testing tools like JUnit test for unit testing and the GUI testing for the Selenium. For our case, we did with the Postmans, and then here we did it in the integrations with the different integration tools like Jenkins and Bamboo, but we will do in later part of the screencast. And the operation part, that's we already said, we have different possibilities to deploy the application into with the standalone jar file based deployment, or Docker Compose based deployment, or Docker and Kubernetes based deployment with the necessary monitoring tools. And then after that, if it's the your end client is satisfied, then you can go again your development code, build and test again, and so on and so forth. That's one. So today we try to discuss about this part, this important part. The previous what we discussed last screencast, that was the discussion like that. So we already define how who will create which tools will create the Hibernate schema, your database schema. So if you see the Spring and DDL auto is update, that means that we said the Spring Boot or Hibernate to create the database schema. That's the not the one of the professional way to handle the database schemas because or version-based database migrations. So that's the reason why we are normally in professional life we use the some database migration tools like Flyway and Liquibase. That's the reason today I try to share or to discuss with you how can you make your how can you make your database schema or database version control systems, uh, not doing the Hibernate itself, but you try to do with the Flyway Liquibase. That's the discussion today. So that means this is the only part we try to discuss today. How can you make your database migration scripts, and then how can you start and how can you make this script, and then Flyway or Liquibase can build those United database migration version control system, database migration system, my database migration process. So if you saw the pictures like that, we already discussed about how developments, how models, and how Hibernate mapping works, and all things is there. So everything is I discussed on my previous screencast. So today I try to make it like convert the don't use the Hibernate to build the database schema. I use the Flyway database schema. So let's have a look how the previous one works. So we already checked, we already started with how you can deploy the application externally. That's I already discussed about that one. Those are you new. So this is our external deployment. Just you make your new versions, and then you make just like your environmental settings with the external configuration. That's what we already discussed. How can you set those external configuration for your development team, your operation team, and operation team just simply change your necessary port and the IP address, where they try to install and which version they try to install, which environments, and necessary database version is dynamically and professional way to set up the environmental variables. And then also we said it's like this is a very simple Java jar files and service definition. We set the variables here and then run the Java start jar. So that's you already saw here in my commands. If I go to my command window, so you see this is the commands started like, so you are in the C directory, all the jar files there. So you just simply start the services definition files and which version you need to be installed, need to be done. This is clearly defined into the your environment setting file. This is the version we are running. So today what we do, we will change our migration script to build a Flyway, and also run the version number maybe 2.4 to build the versions and try to run the application externally with different port or something like that, or with the same port. That's the things. So let's have a look what are the happy plans. So this is the plan for the database migrations with the Hibernates, and we have a different application like in later case we will discuss a little bit more. This another application how that we have a 5 or more migrations migration scripts. We see that 1 2 3 4 5 migration script, and then all the Flyway, all the database migration script with the Flyway, and also we have application like the same migration script with the Liquibase. Just simply change these files and then everything is really the same thing is here. So that means here it's only a little bit change here, this part how the Liquibase call the your migration script files and do this, include the files when you have a new versions, new database changes, like need additional tables, additional columns, delete columns, or update the data types and so on and so forth. You can just simply define here. So that's the different screencast I will discuss one by one, but today I try to make it like a very simple one what we did the last times to change the database schema from not doing the Hibernate. It will do by the Flyway, the Liquibase, Flyway, sorry. So let's have a start. So that means we in the database levels we have already some information. So we already check it. There is more record is there. So in the application is running. So we'll break it now the application. So let's remove the database schemas and then so on and so forth. Then it will create the schemas out of the, you see, let's see how it is. So public, you see the 4 sequences is already created manually. That's you in the so that we have to be manually created. If Hibernate create the schemas, then you need to be create the sequences yourself. That's I already show or discuss about how the Java call the sequences into the Java utility classes. So this is the sequences call that I already discussed about the last screencast. So just simply sequence call. You create the sequence, you call the sequence, automatically inject it to sequence into the your domain models, into the your entity models. So this is the entity models. You see that simply calling the entity, inject the entity next sequences into the your primary key, and this is the primary key. You define it here, and the your entity the your sequence generation class is automatically created. So that means we will do the same thing with the Flyway. And we just define our entity models. We just created these entity models. How can you do it? I will show you a little bit later. So all the entity models is there. So you can see. Then we can go this here, and this all the auto update, and maybe here just like simple sense in this. So we will do together to how can you build those type of initial DDL script for SQL script, and this is the definition of the second version of the database, and then see these informations how the sequence is automatically created. So that means we don't need to create the schema. The Hibernate itself is create the schemas and also new versions of version control systems for database with the Flyway. So now we need to be remove the applications, and then we try to run the application with the in here. If it's everything work properly, then we will move forward to the other to the final release of the versions. Let's have a look. So we will try to remove the databases, the all tables. Let's see, we remove the tables. So remove the shift delete tables. I do them manually. Okay, so it's a foreign key related.